Welcome back. We're here to do the super chats. Yes, later we do have the addition of the joint connection for the twin flame path. We record that weekly, so make sure to come along and see the update. We do have your additions out. Also, very separately, if you haven't checked, look at the masculine, feminine, and karmic as an overall. And yes, we do have today the next edition out, which will be a week ahead for the members. Now, the super chat sessions at the moment have been scheduled public and for the members. Now, I have been sitting and really meditating upon this, especially with the analytics of the channel, situations happening behind the scenes, and some of the content that I'm actually wanting to bring to you guys. We are going to be changing them over where this could be the last month where we do have the live super chats. And that is because at a temporary level, which will be a temporary level, I do need to get a lot of other content done. So I am going to be putting them within the YouTube membership. It does tend to affect the YouTube algorithm, especially if we're prepaying them. We're coming to the channel directly after it affects the video. So putting it behind in the membership, it's not going to affect the algorithm. That doesn't mean to say that I won't come live and answer your questions, but it does mean that I will be able to get onto other content that I have been wanting to launch on the platform. But we do have our super chats today. I'll put a community post up about it. And also I have opened up more booking sessions for those of you that are needing AM sessions. So if you, and it has been filling up very fast. So Saturdays, from 10 a.m. Greenwich time, we do have bookings available, and every week so far they have been full. So if you are needing something of a reading, we have Monday to Friday open via the website, and we also do have the weekend sessions, which is evening and AM. So that is one way that we will be doing such. And I do recall writing the list up, but of course it will be on YouTube. So I will log back in and we will write the super chat names back up again. And we'll have a bit of a chat about what I do see astrologically coming up. I am going to put these videos separate so that when we are having energy updates, they are going to be addressed in a very separate fashion, not via a super chat. Okay, so log in. Tell us how you've been experiencing things. Definitely you will find that anything down to your technology can be really playing up. That is because Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, is very Uranian energy. So yes, a lot of platforms can be going through some changes. That can be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We also could have a new platform coming out this month. And it can be new rules and laws, and it can be that we are really looking for locations and platforms that feel more conducive. We're really looking for our tribe. But this also could be a point in the month that we are able to get a lot of downloads. And, you know, when we say downloads, it could be that you have these revelations with ideas. So it could be, you know, you've had a blockage, maybe in business, maybe in your life. And with the moon that's coming up in Aquarius, you know, give yourself a little bit of grace, give yourself a little bit of time. It is going to ease up. It is going to give you some ideas of potentially what these subject matters are. So that's one benefit, especially for those of you, if you've been very confused about what to do from here, wondering why things aren't flowing. It also could mark an existential crisis. So for some of you, you could really be thinking, gosh, you know, is my life going in the correct direction? Do I need to change direction? You could feel alone initially, like nobody understands you, especially because for those that are Aquarius in nature, they'd understand this, very well, is they do feel like the black sheep of the family. They do, you know, in their early stages of life, and they can pacify when they're trying to come to terms with who they are, where they fit in, and they're very selective about who their friendships are. You know, it's almost like going through customs, you know, have you made the mark? Have you made the cut? Some of you also could have issues with your friendship groups at the moment, managerial roles. This also could be with money. It also could be with your lots of changes with management globally. So we're definitely going to see big companies going through some transitions at this point in time. It really occurred to me the other day, especially because of the second job that I have, the industry that I work in. With the axis between Cancer and Capricorn, it was very much the building industry that was going through a rejig. And, whenever we do have a great conjunction, which happened back in 2020, we saw a lot of changes. We were at home. We then had the North Node in Gemini. Again, it was quite local. We were almost pixelated because we had an overload of information. Everyone had an opinion. Really looking maybe at, our transportation, where we could and couldn't go, and dealing with local businesses and schools. So there was a lot of subjects to do with schools. Where we are in the mix at the moment with the North Node in Aries, it's very passionate. So we can be easily angered at this point. We can feel quite judged. We can feel quite misunderstood with circumstances. So we're really needing to keep our cool, to step back, to understand that people are going to be going through this circumstance. And Aquarius is to do with group energy. So it isn't just one location, it's globally. And we definitely on a global stage can see circumstances happening that can be quite triggering. A lot of you could get to a point that you are not looking at mainstream media at this point in time. It can be that you feel disillusioned by observing such. You want to know what the people are doing, what the people are feeling. And so you may be searching for outside sources for that information. Aquarius also can link to astrology. I definitely see astrology, occult wisdom, being a big subject for about 20 years. It can then transform after that stage. North Node in Aries, definitely going to be passionate, but we also can be triggered because we do have Chiron in Aries at the moment. It's aiding us. It does spend a lot more time in Aries because we have a lot more spiritual work to do in the house of self. So if you know in your birth chart where you have Aries, it's going to aid you with knowing where those triggers are coming from. Now, February is going to be quite fast-paced. It's going to be quite sudden with subjects that do pop off. That is because we do have 7 conjunctions occurring this month. So it's very sudden. It can be new chapters that are launching in our personal lives and new directions quite suddenly. Now, could it be something in your personal chart that happens? Yes, it can be. But it also, at a collective level, will be occurring also. Oh, write these down. Has anyone had these revelations coming up? Have you noticed managers being moody? Issues with frustrations? Okay, save and make sure I've got it all right. So we have Tracy, Dawn. Look how I spelt it. Good grief. I added an A to your name, Dawn. How do you feel? Dawn, Kerry, Cosmic Journey, Stella and Marie. So that's what we have. So I'll come back to the chat. Morning, Kerry. How are you doing, my doll? For Aries individuals, you may need to tread quite carefully this month. You can be quite frustrated. If this was a pay rise that you were looking for instance, this probably isn't the month to do such. Show what you're made of, and it's naturally going to come to you. Management energy also can be a little bit intense, and especially because you're Aries, you're really wanting to get things done. If you were applying for a different job or looking at businesses, this also could be a positive time for you. Nice. It's like, what is that, Dawn? Why did I do that? Oh, now it's showing up on the thing. Look at this. Good grief. Look. Now it's showing up. It wasn't there before. So, algorithm situational shifts. As I did mention, another reason why I am choosing to put the super chats in the members is because on a search term and an algorithm ratio, if I'm creating super chats and the individuals don't show up at the time of the video, plus it's not something generally we do search unless we're looking for a live super chat. So it can directly impact the algorithm of the channel. And I am wanting to put new content out. I'm quite restricted with time at this stage. And I'm definitely planning all the way from here into 2025 for that new content, for the education content. Saturn definitely has really been messing with us, but it is a positive thing because from a perspective, Neptune is the dream, it's the innovation, it's the change. It's the hunch, right? Both signs at the moment, we have Neptune and Pisces, which can be to do with medication, pacifiers, so we can have new rules around these things. So it can be around, again, I'm not promoting. This can be anything down to medication, tobacco, alcohol, changes with those situations can be happening. Saturn also in our own personal lives, what it does is put pressure on us to create structure, regiment, and routine. So we're going to be more realistic with the way we build, and that can be within our own lives. So knowing where Pisces is in your chart is very handy to help you actually achieve your goal. Pisces also in a problematic situation, we tend to be less ready to launch. So we can get up in our heads a little bit too much and don't do anything at all. So knowing that that pattern could be possible, it's very psychological in nature. You're going to want almost pure evidence like the Virgo energy. Is this possible? Is it going to work? Whereas sometimes we do just have to, keep structured, keeping that routine. Understand that the grind is worth the buck, theoretically, because that's what it's really teaching us. If the dream is worth it, you're going to need to go in and do what you need to do. And that's going to aid you with that circumstance. Okay, so I'll add Don Scorpio to the list, but we are going to be having the list closed very soon because I'm moderating it myself. And also because I do have an extremely busy day today, especially with clients. So I can probably take a couple more and then we will be closing it down. So if you do want a super chat, throw it in now or forever hold your pace because we are going to be getting into those super chats now. Okay. So we have Tracy. I'll give it 5 more minutes and then I will be typing super chat closed. So if you are not a member and you do want to join the super chats, I would urgently suggest do join the membership. It's a 1-tier level. It is, hi Dal, it is, you would need to sign up, which I'm going to alter the other membership because there were 2 memberships and there I was waiting for the other individuals to downgrade the level because I've made the membership cheaper. I think it's about, in total, you get pre-released, you get super chats, you get the Discord, connection where you have chats, video, talk, and text. And I communicate with you guys on a coaching level in there all the time. And we have the In the Dark super chat. So there's probably going to be maybe 2 super chats happening a month within the members, or it could be a chat where we jump in and we schedule things. And later, yes, we could have webinars occurring in there. And any other content that I want to share to you before the main page, which usually any content will be shared to the main page. So putting it in the members is for the analytics of the channel because it's affecting the channel. When the subscriber count grows again, yes, I may be able to open it back up to the public. But while it's like that, I just really do feel it's necessary to put it behind the membership. Okay. Otherwise, yes, I have bookings online. So what do we have? We have Tracy. Anything in particular, my love, or you just want me to see what energetically is coming through? Oh, you got 2 subjects you're dealing with. You're very serious at the moment with these changes that you're wanting to make. It could be to do with the circumstance. 14-year-old son to come live. Okay, I'll put 5D11 and now I'll say we'll add this, and I'll update the banner. Give me 5. This is the joy of running your own channel of super chats. Okay, so whatever you see. Okay, I'm seeing 2 situations. This could be a contract or a partnership, and I also feel from a level, it could be to do with old feelings really resurrecting. So this could, and I really don't, I find your vibration extremely positive. So I feel this is happening more on an intellectual or intuitive regressive manner, if you get what I'm saying. So could it be that you are thinking about old situations, unfair circumstances? This could be to do with a contract or a partnership. But it's funny because at an intuitive level, I feel as though you are looking at it in a very positive way, not a negative way necessarily. So it could have been old feelings. It could. So it's mathematical. It's very Virgo. It's logical. You're looking at it logically. You know it was there. It's a revisit to these circumstances. Now, how these, and it's almost like you can see a synchronistic pattern happening in various areas, but you're stepping back and you're using your intuition. You're keeping your cards close to your chest. You also are super aware of how people's vibrations do directly impact you. But I feel you're being like the fly on the wall. You also may be, understanding of astrology, understanding of energy, walked a mile in a person's shoes. So how you used to relate to it before is very different to how you're relating to it now. So again, you're doing something in a very tactical manner. You are being very cautious. You're not showing your cards to anyone, but you're aware of what they are doing. You're aware of what the dynamic is. And I feel you're protecting yourself. I feel that you're stepping back and you're addressing it differently than maybe you had addressed it before. Yeah, you like, I'm not showing all my cards. I'm keeping my ideas, creativity, thoughts, feelings to myself. I need to sum this up. Is it the same? Is it a different circumstance? And I think you're preparing. Yeah, I see the poker face. I see you coming through. And you're saying to yourself, look, I'm a decent person. I come to the table in a very positive fashion. I don't know why, but I'm also feeling there could be a person who is coming through very gentle, very professional, very friendly. This could be somebody who is admiring you. This also could be a signature of what you're wanting in your life, especially if it does relate to love. Could you be having a meeting with an individual soon? This could be a professional meeting. This could be to get to the crux of a situation, anything down to a review, an interview, a conversation with an individual. It's showing that it's at the door. It's happening. That this is what's coming. So a judgment in a particular direction is coming. If you're keeping your options open with the circumstance and you're preparing yourself, I see it to be very positive. Yeah, so it's showing that you're in the right direction. It's showing that you're trusting your instincts and your intuition. If you're waiting for an outcome, it's saying have faith with the situation because this is very positive. Don't give up. You're on the right path. Trust your instincts. I do feel it's going to be a lot more money. I do feel it's going to be a lot more beneficial. This can also be for your mind, body, and soul, not just finances. So if it is a circumstance that is, because like I said, I do feel this is happening in various areas. I don't feel it's one given subject, but I feel overall you're ready to turn the tides in your favor. You're preparing. You're taking the necessary steps you feel are going to be organically necessary for that. This also, know that, if it's closure as well, especially if you go into that second guessing of yourself and you're like, am I being silly? Should I just, do what I've been doing this whole time? No, follow through with it. Follow through with your intuition. Sometimes the pause does tend to spiritually test us. It doesn't mean it's a no, but you could second guess yourself and get a bit paranoid. I'm hearing the term getting out of Dodge. Oh, this is going to work out fine for you. This is going to work out positive. Okay. What? Yeah, don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck, because you do know psychologically, it could be more responsibilities. Like, you understand why people are relating to circumstances the way they are, but there could be something that you've been carrying for a long time that you're actually releasing. They're also saying don't be so hard on yourself. There's two sides to every coin. You also could be, if this is a romantic person that you're observing, you're a little bit worried about them. Be it was past, yeah, I think it's a most current situation. There's somebody here that you're a little bit worried about. You can see that they've got the world on their shoulders. Does it have to be a romantic partner? Not necessarily. It could be. But there's somebody in particular that you're a little bit concerned about, their demeanor, their attitude. It's been very intense, or there's something that's on their plate that's very heavy. Keep flowing. Whatever this is, keep flowing. But also, if this is you that is coming up in this fashion, and you're like, look, I just want to have this kind of relieved, I do think you're going to have the resolve that you desire. And I do think it's going to be positive for you. Don't stay in the old. That's what it's saying. Be open to the new, because I feel that you're on the right track. I really do. But if there's something you're needing to let go of, that is holding you down, that is a burden spiritually, just be really fair to yourself and say, look, I know that I've done the best I can, and this is what I've got to let go of, because it just doesn't feel healthy for me. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I hope that helped. Feels like a lot, but it's nothing you can't handle. And I do think your outcome and your intuition is guiding you correctly. If you are having to make a hard decision, I think you will make it. And I definitely think it is because you are, needing to liberate yourself. And I think it's going to be quite successful. So definitely continue doing what you're doing, because on the up and up, I do think it's going to serve you. Okay, my love. We have Dawn. Save. Show. Dawn. Next up. So let's see what's coming through for you, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. How are you doing? You got the star. You're looking for the stars. You've got the star card that came through. First visual I had was the star. You're trying to make a judgment towards it. And feel free, anyone that has a super chat, if you feel it resonates or how it resonates, give us a heads up what those circumstances were, if you feel inclined to. No pressure. Okay, some big changes between now and the moon in Aquarius. I do feel like really going to shift you. This can be a time of a shift for you. Okay. You have been trying to take a critical look at life. Yeah, look, the energy has been really unique. Like I said this, when Pluto moved out of Capricorn, 29 degrees, a lot of intensity, a lot of old circumstances coming up. We're still unpacking that, even though we're moving towards the moon in Aquarius, other transits moving into Aquarius, and it's quite big, and it will affect every zodiac sign. So each individual collectively as well as individually. It's kind of like as we're going to a funeral, it's something that we really resonated with. It's something that we've outgrown. Pluto will show us what's hidden. Then as we move through, we're moving into a different zodiac sign. It's going to bring another subject up. It doesn't mean to say all that Capricorn energy is said and done and it's all over, but it is a shift that we physically are having. So, this can be to do with intimacy, to do with what's hidden. It can be a very Pluto relationship. You can be saying to yourself, what has been going on, for instance, with the other individual can be deeply impacting you. This can start to be alleviated at this point, but circumstances beyond your control, it could have been money, it could have been passings of individuals. They spiritually have gone through huge upheaval, but inadvertently it has directly impacted you. Also, you may feel as though you're spiritually honoring yourself and now wanting to get to a stage where you don't want something hidden. You want something to be out in the open. You want to feel that you can be proud and invested in and growing. So for you also in your life, you may have had to have dealt with a lot of things that were quite heavy. That can be the taboo, it can be intimacy, it can be death, rebirth, and all those new beginnings you were having to go through that felt like a huge struggle. Now, you spiritually, you could feel suddenly like you are living in the wrong location. You can feel as though you need to move. You may feel that you want to connect to spiritual energies. You could be feeling almost like you're divorcing certain elements of yourself. You also can become very interested. All of a sudden, can be a bit obsessive. You can uncover some hidden truths to do with occult wisdom. You may be thinking about education. You could be educating others. You could be thinking about writing a book. But your faith is changing. The way you see things is changing. Okay, you have felt this person has had a long time. They've had a long time. They had the tools. They were the masculine. It's like you're just not seeing it the way you used to. Your energy at the moment is kind of in this mourning energy. So it's almost like you spiritually with the Capricorn energy going to feel as though there's a death. There's a death. There's an ending. It's very matter of fact. So it's understand what the energy is and why it's happening. It's purgatory. It's showing you something, and it's a detachment that you're moving through. Could you have various kind of feelings that come up in the next month? I do feel so. I feel this can be anywhere down to resentment, to empathy, to logic. It's going to be a bag of all sorts. It's going to be a mixed bag of energy. Yeah, you're going to be taking a very hard critical eye on things. You also may feel as though you could travel quite a bit. You could be doing a lot of things with friends at the moment and detaching. You also could feel very cautious about what you tell people. You're concerned that you're repeating patterns. You're concerned that this is going to be a repeated cycle. You're wanting to choose correctly. Your energy is feeling as though you just need to move forward. But it's funny because you still spiritually wish they'd just jump. Yes, matter of fact, I just don't feel attached to him. I don't feel a connection. That's usually a spiritual protective mechanism. It's a little bit like when we have PTSD, when we're unable to articulate or express how we're feeling. My daughter brought this up, and she's Aquarius. I think it's called disassociation. It's spiritually where it's almost like you're in your body, but you're out of your body. Very bad way of describing it. But I do think it's I still feel it's purgatory. It's that feeling like you're very disillusioned, but it's a survival instinct that you're spiritually going through to cope with something that is just uncomprehendable. I feel you're ready to make a big decision, but it could be drastic. It could be radical. It could be really out there. Part of you is worried that is a potential here, that it's almost like, you'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. You may need to keep your cool and look at this rationally. Not just, not going into runner mode, because I don't think this is about runner mode, but it could be that you're wanting to get far, far away. Because if this is pure detachment, you are going to move into unconditional love, and you're going to understand the reasons why a person chooses what they choose. I'm not feeling that vibration here. I'm feeling almost like, if you were to move with another energy, if you were feeling purely platonic with this person, you literally could date another person and all be just not a problem. Do you know what I mean? So to a degree, it's almost like you feel you're spiritually cursed, because if you stay in the area and you are seeing someone, what if this person actually does take a leap of faith? Are they going to mess with my new beginning? And so you kind of feel victimized by the situation. You're like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're definitely looking at them as that they're a stickler, like they're too traditional. But that's a lot of times that's more to do with our faith and belief system than theirs, because we always do mirror, right? So we always do mirror. If a person's unhappy, they're going to leave the circumstance. It doesn't matter if you're religious. It doesn't matter. Point blank zero. If the cake is burnt, you're going to leave. You're not going to be able to eat it any longer. It's going to become unpalatable. So there is, your ascension process will continue regardless. A lot of times when we're going through a healing process, we tend to say, oh, well, that means because I haven't had success, I'm not a twin. No, not necessarily. And, a lot of the coaching that I've done over the last few weeks, especially from an energetic point of view, even if we were to just look at things from the psychology side of things, of why individuals trigger us, there's always a mirror of something inside ourselves that we feel we should be. So, doing the mirror work is really going to help you at this point. But, not putting so much pressure on yourself that you have to be at a destination right now, and with all success right now. I watch him flirt with someone and realize that we used to do that and don't. But that is actually positive that he's not doing that with you, Dawn, because it means he has respect for you. You've got to understand this person's in a karmic relationship. If they were doing things behind the scenes, it would cause a lot of conflict in your life where you feel that person had not made up their mind. They were keeping you a dirty little secret. They have a spiritual connection with you, but they also do need to end their karmic cycle. And I feel if you can adjust your frequency and you can just be really excited about life, point blank zero, that is going to make that individual look at you and go, hey, I want to live like that. Because how are they going to be confident to leave a circumstance if we can't show them, hey, living alone is actually not a negative thing. We actually can be more happy than dealing with a karmic inside a relationship. Do you get my example? So if they were a stickler for, hey, I can't really be alone, I'm scared, I can't take that leap of faith, are we, actually showing them that it's really horrible out there and that it's terrible to actually be alone, that we can be perfectly independent? So if you can show that person how fantastic it is that you can be your vibration, you don't have to answer to anyone, you love your life, you make goals, you make decisions, you're not having to answer to anyone, that is going to motivate that person, that if they're not able to do that, that is going to motivate that person to walk a mile in your shoes. Then they can come to you, and give and come equally because they've learned that karmic lesson. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. But you could run the risk at this point of, going in a very violent U-turn direction. Just don't regret whatever you're going to do. And that's got nothing to do with, do I have to stay? Do I have to love that person? Not at all. But just don't make any huge rash decisions that could be quite costly in the long run for you emotionally. And you could feel like, why did I do that? That was extreme. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Yes, but, anything down to do the lawn, do the renovations, do the things, have your dinner parties, go on holidays. If they question why you're doing it, because I'm single, I can, love that part, do that part. And then they're going to see if they are triggered. Well, if you do want to tell me what to do, well, you're not really my partner. You want to, I respect your opinion, but do you get what I'm saying? Make him earn it. It'll come. At the moment, you feel frustrated because he's in a karmic loop. So we have Kerry next. We shall edit. I haven't even had brekkie. I had my caffeine. That's what counts. You know what I mean? Okay, Kerry, let's see what's coming up for you, my love. I gave you a bit of a mini one earlier. Most welcome, Dawn. You have some great astrology coming up, my lady. So, just hold on. It's very adventurous. It's very changeable. How's my weekend going? Well, after this, I'm going to be doing the joint connection. At some point, I've got to do masculine, feminine, karmic. I need to go renovate my daughter's new house that she's moving into. Pretty busy, and then back to work in, what we call 40 degrees. I think I went to 47 in some locations. You got 2 subjects coming up, which for those of you that don't know, in a vehicle, it got up to, for the Fahrenheit side of things, was over 127 Fahrenheit. No, it wasn't fun. Well, show them that you're worth it, and just be willing to. Like if you, for instance, were looking for, probably by month's end, it's going to be a bit better. It's not that they're not seeing you as great. Just watch your back with management at the moment, and I feel it'll be lower frequency management. You know what I mean? Not the big ones, the lower ones. Yeah, but you definitely can have increases. Uranus and Taurus has just gone direct. That does link to your second house. But we do have some major conjunctions happening. This is to do with wealth as well. Pluto in Aquarius is to do with your wealth health. You're, going to management, going up a tier level. You also could have issues with friends. Because you always get the yin to the yang. It's what's hidden. Okay, so you're coming through as the High Priestess. And you have, it's funny, this is the second time somebody has got this, the Queen of Cups, but yours is in reverse. This is a lot of money. And yes, you will have the ability this year to earn a lot. But there could be a big purchase. There could be something you're wanting to do. This also can be, something that you're trying to get finances back on track. You're trying to get your value systems back on track. You also are going to have to resist the temptation of, how do I put it? This can be more, I would say, from a document point of view. I think, if anything, this could be spiritually to do with the romantic situation. It's like you're purging out old patterns and habits of enabling, of You needing to see both sides of the coin with circumstances. This also can be where your life got to, maybe because of an ending and a new beginning, and where you are now. You can feel like a person on an island, not knowing whether you're going left or right, but there's a passion that's igniting in you, and that passion is going to be super exciting. You do have a family situation playing out here at the moment. If that family situation was very different, you feel that you would be going in a different direction. But I do feel there's a direct reason why you were brought to where you are, and it is igniting a passion in you. It's almost like you could be starting to get excited about life, that maybe you could be extremely successful in a certain area. And this is changing the tides. You're looking at things differently. You're starting to make action plans. And you will be willing to change directions, but it's almost like you're in two worlds at the moment. But you're planning, but you've got two options there. Does that make sense? So your end destination, be it it's accommodation, be it it's a job or a relationship, it's like you've got two doors. Two doors that you're going to go through, undecided about which one yet, but you're planting seeds in both doors. Does that make sense? It's like you trust in universe. You're like, I don't know, look at this individual, like hand both sides. But universe is showing me you are planting seeds, but it's directly connected to two doors. You're trying to still have the courage to continue forward. I definitely feel very passionate that you're going to be. It's also asking you to make sure at all times this year that you read the fine print. Make sure you know the contracts you're going into. Make sure you know why you're doing it. At all times, and that's going to keep you protected. From a romantic point of view, I think you are in preparation mode. You also could have some news coming at left field to do with an old circumstance, and you may be face to face with this individual at some point. This could be due to a contract or an old situation. That's what I have here. Okay, my love? As to finances, they will pick up. You do have Lady Luck here. So I wish you the best. We have, who do we have next? We have Cosmic Journey. Oops, don't delete that side. That would not be good. Hi, Cosmic Journey. Let's see what's coming through energetically for you. I read Discord and I was like, bless your possum socks. I so feel you. Definitely from a technology point of view, for those of us that are, working with tech at the moment. I remember when we had the North Node in Gemini and I was like, oh my God, that's going to feel like a Mercury retrograde for 18 months. And it really did. There was a lot of miscommunication, changes with social media, changes with routines in schools. They're going to school, they're not going to school. Because Gemini can be to do with transport, communication, technology, the internet. And it was really affecting. It was even for musicians, for instance, it was to do with musicians not being maybe in the face-to-face, or if they're local, yes. But it was online, and people becoming famous musicians just through YouTube, for instance. Now that we have the North Node in Aries, there's a lot of intensity. People are going to be more verbal, a lot more trolls maybe on social media. But as for the technology, because we did just have Uranus and Taurus go direct last month, and we did have Pluto ingress into the House of Aquarius. It's both technology. So it's almost acting like a Mercury retrograde for us. In a clarity setting, like I mentioned, a lot of us are going to be looking at where we're going, needing to redo something, what's hidden, creative ways of doing things, what people, if it was from a business point of view, what our niche market is actually going to be attracted to. Oh, really interesting. For a while there, I feel you had, it's almost like when we shift our energy onto a project, it can keep our attention very busy. When that project or whatever we're pouring our energy into is sort of like blocked to a degree, it's almost ushering your energy back into you. It's like it's making you take a moment. And it does get us up in our head, but it also redirects the energy to other areas, maybe psychologically that were quite stagnant or we were tolerant of. And it is to do with the connection at this point. It's come up quite largely in your mind. There is frustration. So when you're trying to focus on projects, you're finding that your mind is going that direction. You also are frustrated because you can feel that as you're dealing with one circumstance, another circumstance is coming up, and it can feel like a tower, but you can feel also that you just want to pull something down and re-erect it. You do feel it's going to pass, so you don't want to be too, too quick to make this assumption. I also feel from a karmic point of view, there can be something happening on your romantic interest side. This could be with a child, with a karmic, but it feels like there's a circle there, and you feel like there's some dramas going on. You feel your time is being taken. You're frustrated. This could be to do with work as well. You're like, am I missing something? What's going on here? Why is this happening? Why is the universe blocking me from my star? I don't see this as negative. I see it as frustrating. You're very determined to get this done, though. Oh, your time. Look, Pluto has moved from your 5th house of creativity into your 6th house. Now, it can be causing a little bit of a bugbear. 5th house is very creative. 6th house is very structured. It's your routine. So you could be dealing with both polarities at the moment, trying to get creative, dealing with a romantic situation, dealing with your children from a karmic dimension, like unfinished business. We're really, a lot of us with that Capricorn axis, we're still dealing with that, shifting over. And I think it'll wrap up this month a bit more than it has. And we're also ushering in that new vibration. So for you, that is the 6th house. You need to care for your wellness. This could be things to do with pets. You could have memories of pets that are passed over. Really caring for the pet's health if you have any pets. But it's your health. It's how it's affected at mind, body, and soul. Paying attention to that, looking at your routine. But we can deem the 6th house of the house of hidden enemies, the house of self-undoing, because it can be spiritual and psychological. If what we're doing, you could step back during this time. And I did find the 6th house really beneficial for me in the long run, not in the short run. In the short run, I was like, whoa, where's this come from? And it was to do with me getting a little bit unwell. But what it did show me is realism when it does come to your routine. You also could feel as though you want to get fit, you want to get your sexy back, you want to connect with people, you want to be like-minded. So it can be hitting the gym, getting your diet in order, maybe food sensitivity, and you're just not really vibing with some of the food, and it's directly impacting maybe the way you think and feel. Great time for checkups, great time for rest and recuperation, and structured routines. And I think if you can get a structured routine, the things that you're wanting to achieve, be it you're tweaking your website and making it more efficient, or you're finding a different way to do something, this is really going to aid you with the circumstance moving forward. I also feel you're going to be more vocal about, not being a doormat to people. And if they are needing on you, you're going to be creating those healthy boundaries. And initially it could come through abruptly. This also could get to a space where you're articulating to these people that they need to come correct, and they need to, not dump on you, not add to your routine. And this could even be your kids, your love interest, and everyone point blank zero. I do think things are going to go through quite positively. I'm definitely seeing you're going to get things down packed. Try to not get into the negativity that, everything's turning to crap, because I feel it's more the frustration. I also feel from a romantic point of view, there can be a change happening in this area. And So the communication style could be a little bit testing. Just be aware of that. But I do feel there's a reconfiguration with the romantic house for you. I hope that helps. Who do we have next? We have Stella. How are we doing, Stella? I'll go back in and update the next one. So far, so good. It's amazing what you can do on your own. You miss me. I miss you too, beautiful soul. How have you been? Our energy should ease up soon. Yeah. You're probably having a lot of fun at home. Are you trying to get your home in order, or are you like, I don't know when I'll do that, Yildiz? Could be anything down to your kids and family and love and wanting to have fun and overtired. It will, and it should continue as we do persevere forward. Lady Luck can be around for you this month, especially to do with wealth. There can be lucky wins for you. You know, Aquarius also can be occult wisdom. You can be very intrigued by it. From a romantic point of view, this can be romance recharging. You know, it's funny. Some people can say that this transit, especially with Pluto, where there's Plutonian connections, but sometimes it's more, you become more private about, the things that you like and dislike. You're going to go on and off food. You could have a hobby and it could be anything down to painting. And then suddenly you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. So you're going to be very changeable over the next 2 decades, where your likes and dislikes are going to change. Your feelings to do with things, your self-discovery of self is really going to change. Yeah, dreams as well. I definitely had a dream last night. And I know that whenever we have dreams and we have a home in them, it generally is, and this was a really interesting dream. If you ever see a building inside a dream, it does connect to your waking life. The structure, is it neat and tidy? Is it clean? And I tell you, this building was under friggin' renovation. And I was like, that definitely represents my life, restructuring, rebuilding, cleaning out. And that really for Libra is a huge possibility. Yeah, it's odd. It was like, but there was a lot of water, which is emotions and fluid and intuition and psyche and psychic energy. So there was some mold and there was some new, and it was funny because I've seen this building before. I don't know where this building is, but I've seen this building in dreams before. And it was like car parks and it was buildings and it was an aquatic center. And, I was like, oh, the last time I saw this building, it was looking pretty shitty. Oh, wow, there's some beautiful glossy new tiles being put in and there's cleaning in progress and water flowing. And I was like, okay, something shifted. I don't know what it is, but it's looking better than it did before. So could you want to change your body? Yes, you could. This could be your feelings, your emotions. This could be trying to navigate those emotions, and they can be becoming more fluid. You are going to be the magician energy this year. Okay. Well, that's a positive thing. Something to do with the karmic, possibly. Something to do with an apology. They're coming through gently. They definitely are. And you're like, look, I've been waiting around. I know you're there. I do know you're there. Take your power back. It's like you are having, sometimes an individual can come into your dream state to prepare you. And what could the window be? If we haven't been thinking about a person and they're coming radically into our dreams, there can be a time point, especially if you're going and you're listening to a psychic reading, a tarot reading, and you're hearing something and you're like, well, I can't see anything. Generally, if you're getting a lot of signs and synchronicities, then the dream state, but you still spiritually feel quite detached, like nothing's changed. Generally, within about 2 weeks, you will see the physical 3D change, and it can be something quite large. I do think there is a spiritual shift here. I also feel at a personal level there is a spiritual shift for you. if there has been circumstances surrounding karmic situations, this can be tribe and family and putting your life on hold. I do think you're going to have huge spiritual revelations, and there can be the inner child that's been healing. I also feel there could be a shift with this individual, but they're coming through very honestly. They're coming through almost very young in energy, and they know that you're being patient, but they're wanting to communicate with you. I don't know why I do get this person coming alone, and I do think that this person could be coming traveling towards you, because they're feeling as though you're. I do feel you will be traveling this year. However, I do feel there can be a little bit of a delay, and I feel they've kind of psychically picked up on it, and they could be kind of trying to organise something where they can come towards you. Okay, my love? But yeah, pay attention to what's in the dream, because the dream's going to be giving you messages. It's going to help you really understand what the context of the message is for that person. Do you get what I'm saying, Stella? You can be earning more money. You also could be going through a change. This also could be, surrounding maybe your career. I mean, I feel like, could we be getting a new pet? Yeah, we could be, but I'm like, no, I've got enough. No more for me. Okay, so we have Marie. Goodness grief, what's going on here? What's going on, Marie? You're coming through it, my love. I'm telling you. There could be a lot that you're having to lay down. There could be a feeling that you have had a lot on your plate. And look, I think we talked about this before. You're coming up as the Ten of Swords. There's a lot. It can be very overwhelming, bite-sized pieces. Maybe some of the advice I've given you previously will aid you. Clearing your home is a good one. I would say anything down to obstinine, tourmaline, those things can really aid you at this time. Doing home clearings, especially if we're having psychic attacks or we're feeling very kind of pixelated. Uranus energy can make eating fatty acids to support the nervous system, depending on where that energy is going to be quite positive. I'm doing a live. I can't talk. I'll be 5. Yeah, please. 5. Beautiful. I would like to have a message for my twin, and I don't know what is going on. Well, you got the Ten of Swords here, right? So this could be anything down to psychic attacks, emotions. You also feel like, it could have been a lot of triggers that you had coming up in the last few weeks. You are wanting to know, like, spiritually, what I'm seeing is you're like, am I being delusional here? So this is how it can be coming through. It can be fantasies. It can be the Neptunian energy. So you can have 2 vibrations going on. 1 minute you could be living the dream. The next minute you could feel very disillusioned. We do have the third party card coming up here. You're being patient. You also do spiritually feel this person is very kind. This person is very passionate, can be angered at times. But there could be some frustration that is going on in their life at the moment. They are gentle, but I'm feeling they're not a pushover. So whatever karmic situation they're dealing with, they also can be dreaming about you, okay? They're coming through very traditionally. This also could be your viewpoint of the circumstance and what the blockage is. Could you say, or would you say that you deal with this circumstance in a very traditional way? What do I mean by that? Do you observe, have you in your life been quite traditional and to the book and maybe delayed making major decisions because of that? And if that is so, this can be a personal trigger. I do feel there's a little bit of a shit show that they're going through at this point. I'm saying tribe and money. I also see a work-related situation being quite relevant for some reason. I've got 3 cards here that is to do with career and progression. Is there a mirror in this situation? There's a pattern here. They're making a reference to two patterns that you guys both have. They're so quiet. It's really weird. This could be triggering you because it does feel very quiet. Do they have children? It's either there's a child here or a young, immature energy. Do they? They're very, there's some, like, I asked the question, are they coming towards you? Now, I feel the energy to be very, very quiet at the moment. I do feel there is upheaval that this person is personally experiencing at this point. They can feel a little bit agitated, but they do feel that things are popping off everywhere. I don't know, is not working on at the moment. Definitely some dramas happening here. I do feel a young, immature energy here for this person. I feel a frustration. They're also referencing a birthday party. Why are they showing me that? Yeah, you're kind of wondering, like, why has something changed so quickly? Have you had communication with this person? Because it's almost like it's gone from day and night. That's what they're referencing, like just really quiet. There's an absolute silence. That's how it's coming through. Absolute silence. I'm hearing calm before the storm. You're feeling as though it's over. Whomever they're dealing with, they can be quite extreme. Yeah, it's really strange, very quiet. They're hot. There's something hidden at the moment that's happening behind the scenes. This is for them to clear, and it's almost that it's protecting you. So I'm not saying this is a negative thing, but I don't feel communication coming in yet. But I feel whatever this is, it's quite big. It's, oh God, bad analogy, but horrible analogy they're showing me. It's a little bit like, you know, a piece of skin and, you know, it's like something's erupting in the circumstance, but it's really quiet, okay? I think this energy is this person's energy. There's some crap going down. Don't try to resist the temptation to say that this is about you, okay? Because I feel this person is coming to a crunch time in their life. You also can be feeling it's really strange. Everything was flowing nicely. Sometimes it's a compliment, and we're not taking it as that. If this person has a lot of crap going down in their life and they know it's not your job to clean it up, or they're tired of hearing the own white noise from their mouth, of making excuses for tolerating things, I think this person's actually dealing with the circumstance, which I think is very healthy and adult. I do think that you are going to get communication from this person, but I think that they're in the thick of it and having to deal with it. So they're stepping back, they're honoring that to reach closure so they can cast it aside. That's what I have. But yeah, it's ghostly. It's ghostly silent. Is it personal? No, not at all. It's not personal. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to be like, oh, why? Pluto and Aquarius. Karmic closes. Yep, karmic closes. A lot of tension. Karmic closes. Okay, my love. Try and keep sane. I know it's hard, but try and keep sane. Love and romance. Breaking through, detaching. Yeah, well, especially for those that have Scorpio energy, anything down to the North Node in Aries is going to be activating you. Pluto as well is really going to be activating you. Can we feel calm before the storm? Yeah, I just keep saying volcanic energy. Not a problem, my love. I hope it helps. Okay, so we have you're going to have lots of shifts, my North Node Aries, oh Lord, and Chiron's there. So, for you are stepping into your destiny. It's almost like, and I explain this to Aries, it's almost like this year, the flashlight's on you. So where maybe you were considering other people, it's not that you don't consider other people or that you can't, it's that you're seeing both sides of the coin. Your part in things, the other person's part in things. And it's very educational, but it also gets us to get out of our ways and see both sides of the coin and realizing what part we had in things, that we do have power. Okay, what do we have? And again, it's going to be extremely psychic, very, very psychic for you, especially in the house of Aquarius. You need to create a room to meditate in. That also, from a creative point of view, it can be that you are working also on your creative energies. Anything down to occult wisdom, creative endeavors, maybe home-based businesses, really rejigging them. Spiritually, what do I say? You are on the protective rampage. Okay, so you do feel you need to hold your cards close to your chest, be protective. There is a protective energy. You're not wanting to make any disastrous decision. You also, it's funny because it's always an all or nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel you could stay in a situation a long time till you reach the closure. It's Scorpionic energy. But once you know, you know. And once you've decided, you've decided. And if you need to tear a building down, you will tear a building down. Do you get what I'm saying? So it is very much all or nothing. You will give it a shot. You will clear shop. You will do what you need to do. And it is for a bigger picture. Some big changes in your physical environment are going to change. You can feel as though you're moving. Yeah, and it happens regardless. That's the Scorpion energy. And that is one of the karmic lessons we have, with that zodiac placement, is that, what is working, we will deal with. You could have a lot of moves. You could really have a lot of moves coming up. You could be questioning traditional things like home and family and values and roles that we play in these things. But you could also want to just restructure everything, really restructuring things. Now, if you have children, this can be, a change happening with them. You also could feel a need to have children for some. There's a judgment here, though. You're making a judgment with the circumstance. But like I said, that energy can be cutting things out, going to extremes. Just be really careful. Allow the energy to flow through you. I think if you are getting the signs and synchronicities, the protection energy is of our own hand and own accord, not to create some messy situation, but really to sit with it, to intuitively listen to what we're getting in whatever that restructure is, to do such, but not to do it, all or nothing sort of thing. It's like we need to have a moment. The conjunctions this month may prevent that, but I think in this circumstance, you do have the power with it, and it is going to go in your favor. So I do think pausing is more the psychic energy that's coming through. 12-year-old son, focusing on self, really trying to end the past wound. Yeah. It makes sense. And the fourth house of Pluto is fucking difficult, I'll tell you, because I had that since 2008. A lot of inner child wounds will come up. It can relate to it differently in Aquarius, but there is still a possibility it will vibe at that same level where you could feel like the black sheep of the family. You might get to a stage where you have to move home very often. You can be in connections and out of connections. You can be married and then, do you get what I'm saying? So, but it's a lot about your inner child. It's a lot about your viewpoints, the pressure you put on yourself. Sometimes it's like we're born and, we ending up being this role inside of families. And felt this pressure maybe inside of families to be something. And then we realized that was something that we thought we just had to do, and we did it. So we took the role on ourselves. So you're going to be very sensitive to vibrations, very protective. You also may want to save for a home, buy a home, want that to be changing. Now, from a romantic point of view, it's almost like, the only way I can describe it is a doomsday prepper. It's like, right, I need to get my life in order. It's very intuitive. And I think collectively we do need to trust our intuition. Ending a 10-year marriage, divorce finalized in December. So new everything. Yeah, that makes sense still. It's new chapters. So the Capricorn, the Pluto in Capricorn to Aquarius is like that contractual situation wrapping up. You spiritual, even though we're moving away from it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's over. It's just a new addition. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, the paperwork element of things, because there's different stages of a separation. It can be the fact that the way you interact with the child and the parent, the first time you're intimate with another person, the first date you go on. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's stages. It's not all the paperwork's there, so that's it. It's done. The spiritual side of things, some of it can be happening prior to paperwork. Other of it is happening after. It's the steps we take, the home, the environment, the circumstances. And I do think it's a self-discovery. And I think the self-discovery is really going to aid you. There could be quite a lucrative situation coming for you, but also it could have taken quite a toll on you and you're needing to have a little bit of a break. But I do see these things as very positive. These are positive new chapters that are coming through this month for you. It could just feel a little bit nerve-wracking, if you know what I mean. But, trust your instincts. I do think it's going to go in your favour. I do think these new chapters are. And you're taking a minute. You're kind of saying to yourself, look, as much as maybe you had an idea or a feeling towards a particular direction, I think you're just being really gentle on yourself and you're saying, no, I'm just going to be quite open-minded. I'm going to be open-minded. I'm going to be cautious. I'm going into this new chapter with new eyes. But it feels positive. I hope that helps. Don't feel negative. It does feel positive. Last but not least, 5D love. How are you doing, my dear? Hope that helped on Scorpio. Hi, doll. What, you wanted to know something about a child? It is. It's self-discovery because it's natural to have those feelings, but it's also natural to be a little bit excited. So allow both to come through. So you wanted to know, Love 5D, about a circumstance. My 14-year-old son. What's that outcome you love? I'll pull the cards. So let's see what we're intuitively seeing. I'm saying it's 50-50. Should I make him live with me or stay with his dad is better? What does he want to do? Did you ask? Where do you think intuitively? It's a hard one. Yeah, you're coming up with the Ten of Swords. It's a hard decision. You're Cancer. Lots of old situations with Pluto in Capricorn, And, the funny thing is, with the Cancerian energy, are they currently living with you right now? It's true. Because energetically, at the moment, my daughter, she's older, she's a parent, she moved back temporarily. And I've got the Cancer axis. So from the Cancer Capricorn axis and the Libra axis, it's children. It's the 4th house. He is right now, but for the weekend. Okay, so what you will find is there will be a change in the circumstance of the living environment of how it is right now. So how could that look? It could look as though it's temporary and then it can become more permanent. It can be that the child also this year does have a large potential of becoming famous in some shape or form. So that can be through their curriculum. It could be through something that they're doing. But the living standard situation at the moment is set to change. So for me, I do know my daughter's moving out. She moved in. I knew with the Capricorn Cancer axis of home and family, when it retrograded back, is when my daughter moved back. When it went direct, there's the cleanup for the first 2 months. So you're going to know, I think the time frame in which you spiritually will know will be this month. It will be wrapping up. Again, what's hidden, what you need to do is ask the questions, okay? What you need to do is ask the questions, and not, even though we may spiritually feel, and I had this circumstance ages ago, especially with my partner's, children, from my ego point of view, I was like, look, I'm a rational person. I'm not taking any illicits. I have a job. I have a home, a clean environment. I'm a giving person. Did I feel I was a suitable candidate to be a parent to that person's children if I was comparing myself to another person? I did. But then when I stood back, it was like, but I can't make that decision. The child needs to. Because what we believe in our ego, it doesn't, sometimes it's closure that person needs. From the perspective of their own soul path. Do you get what I'm saying? So giving it a test run, that could be one way that you could do it. We've talked lots to him, but he wants to stay with his dad. Yes, so that could cause a lot of conflict for you if you were to make it that way. And the funny thing is, reverse psychology is a wicked tool. It's almost like, if we were to step back, sometimes what we don't know is that our path has a different journey, but we're just not letting it come in. And when my daughter years ago decided to move out, I felt like I was going through a midlife crisis. It was like, what the hell am I going to do? This is young for retirement. It's young for the child, to be moving out. And I had to take a good look at myself in the mirror and say, are you serious? You got limbs, you got hopes, you got dreams. Where is the positive in this? What, now maybe can I spiritually do that maybe I was limited of doing? And it doesn't have to be as a permanent thing. Parenting's forever. They come back and bloody find you. So it's not forever. But I would say, let's see what the cards say. Generally from the transits, we can see that there is going to be conflict by month's end with those individuals. There also could be, if this person has said, look, I want to do that, if you were to just go cold turkey on it and step back, the person's true feelings are going to come through. Do you get what I'm saying? So it can be if you go, okay, fair point, that's fine, and you back off and let them do the work, and it's not, well, I can't get to school, dad won't take me. Well, it's like, well, no, that dad's got you. So, this is what living in this location is, so that the closure can come. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're doing everything and they're living over there, no, that's when you have to call it and you've got to go, look, this is how it's going to be. If I'm doing everything and this person isn't, then look, I do feel spiritually it's best. When you get to X age, you can retreat back, but then you can actually spiritually look after yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? So it depends on the context, Style. Nothing's wrong, nothing's right. It is coming through, as the Ten of Swords. You've got to ask yourself, what are you fighting for? Because it will naturally just flow when he's ready. You do want the best for him. You will always wish that for him no matter what. I do think at the moment he's got his foot in both doors. And directly he is connected to the both of you. It's a bugger of a situation. I think when he's ready, he will come towards you. I just do feel there is a possibility he will retreat back and then he'll shift. Now, the other correlating energy is whatever decision is made now, it will be revisited towards the end of the year again. That's because Pluto's going to move back into Capricorn. Okay? So it won't be over. It could be temporary, but it could be a trial, if you know what I mean. I hope that helps. And it's never really over, you know what I mean? Parenthood never is. Then they're turning up with their partners and their kids, and you're like, oh. You remember that movie where the guy's like, his son's moved out and, he's turning the kid's bedroom into a nudist zone and, because he's retired and his kid's moved. And then the kid turns up and goes, what are you doing with my room? Yeah, that's parenthood. It can be, so give it a try. There's 2 windows of it, but I do think, intensity can be there this month, but definitely changes. Yeah, but definite great changes for you. You could have a lot of chemistry coming through this year. You could have anything down to changes, like if you're in a partnership, for instance, it can be that person's income can be changing. You can be tapping into, you can have lucky wins in lotteries and changes in wellness and diet and, what you're going towards. So there's good doors opening for you. There are good doors opening. Okay. But yes, hopefully I can get back to the zodiac signs with all the changes that we're making. If you do enjoy this super chats, I will put a community post up soon. They will be coming up for... That sounds great. Most welcome, love. Take care. What was I saying? Okay, so yes, we will have the joint connection done very soon. We do have the editions out if you haven't seen them. There will be new content coming to the channel. And as mentioned, I will put a community post up about the super chats and what the new schedule is going to be, because I am putting them within the members now. It doesn't mean to say I won't be coming live or bringing new content. It's so I can bring new content, because I do tend to find with the super chats what happens. I'll give you a heads up when this is all happening, is that it does directly affect the algorithm. So if you do want to join them at this stage, it can be within the members. So jump through and join the YouTube membership, or stay tuned for our live sessions. That can be webinars, updates with the moon energy, and more.